Holla, guys.
Hey, hey, hey.
It's Mrs. Klein.
And Mrs. Wilbren.
We are here for your podcast, first podcast for Lesson 9, The Constitution or More Perfect Union.
Yeah, and your guiding question here is, how has the Constitution created a more perfect union?
Okay, you guys, as always, actually, we're going to split this lesson up into 3 different podcasts, but there's a lot of vocabulary, incredibly important vocabulary. Here are the terms for you. Checks and balances, executive branch, federalism, interest group, interstate commerce, judicial branch, judicial review, legislative branch, majority rule, popular sovereignty, and separation of powers. That's a lot there.
All right, guys. And we're going to start with like an introduction to this new lesson that we're going to be learning about here. Okay, so when the delegates left Independence Hall in September 1787, they each carried a copy of the Constitution. Their task now was to convince their states to approve the document that they had worked so hard to write.
Most of all, the framers wanted to create a central government that would be strong and lasting, but not so strong that it endangered citizens' freedoms. Although writing the Constitution required many compromises, the delegates were able to meet these goals.
Yeah. Now, the delegates wanted ordinary citizens to understand and support the Constitution. So they organized its contents very clearly. After a short introduction, they divided the Constitution into parts called articles. Then they split each article into numbered sections that present topics in a careful order.
This structure can help you find information in the Constitution. For instance, the first section in the article on the president describes how the president is chosen, while the second section lists the president's powers. The third section lists presidential duties, and the fourth explains how the president can be removed from office.
Yeah. One of the marvels of the Constitution is the way it combines flexibility with a strong framework for the government. In general, the delegates allowed Congress, the president, and the courts to add details to the basic framework. They also included procedures for changing the Constitution.
This combination of strength and flexibility makes the Constitution an enduring document. The Constitution keeps its basic nature, yet the framers created it so it could change with the times. In this lesson, you will learn more about the enduring quality of this ingenious document.
All right, guys, and with that, we're going to jump into section 1 of lesson 9, and we're going to start with the preamble. So the preamble tells the goals of the government, and the preamble is that first paragraph. The delegates who crafted the Constitution chose each word carefully. Some of their best-known words are in the introduction, called the preamble, which explains the reasons for the new government.
The Constitution begins with the memorable phrase, "We the people." With these words, the delegates announced that the Constitution based its authority on the people themselves rather than on the authority of the states, the existing government, or a sovereign ruler.
Okay. The delegates also included a list of goals for the new government in the preamble, which addressed their want to form a more perfect union.
The Constitution also aims to establish justice. Americans did not want to be ruled by the might of soldiers or the decisions of kings. They instead wanted to be ruled by laws that would apply to all people equally.
The delegates hoped that the new government would ensure domestic tranquility. By domestic, they mean within the country. By tranquility, they mean peace and order.
The new government would provide for the common defense. In other words, the national government would be responsible for protecting the nation against foreign enemies.
The delegates wanted the new government to promote the general welfare. This meant that the government could support an economy and a society in which people could prosper.
Finally, the delegates hoped to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
They wanted the government to protect the freedoms gained in the American Revolution and preserve them for Americans to enjoy in the future.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys have ever listened to Schoolhouse Rock, but like the preamble of the Constitution, I don't know, Mrs. Wilburn, should we do a bonus thing before, like where you guys get the chance to be able to recite it?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes. If you can even sing it, perhaps maybe there'll be even more points that come to you.
Oh, I love it. Good idea.
All right, you guys, we're going to move on a little bit to talk about the legislative branch, which is the branch that makes laws. Article 1 of the Constitution gives the power to make laws to the legislative branch of government.
The Constitution creates a bicameral or two-part national legislature called Congress. The two parts, or houses of Congress, are the House of Representatives and the Senate.
While every state gets 2 senators, representation in the House is based on population, which is back from those compromises that are made at the Constitutional Convention.
Yeah, I feel like they really know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so how Congress makes laws. This is what we're going to talk about next. The primary job of Congress is to make laws. Any member of the House or Senate has the power to submit a bill or proposal for a new law, but only the House can propose new taxes. If a majority in one House votes in favor of the bill, it is sent to the other House for debate. If both houses approve the bill, it goes to the president, who may then choose to sign or veto the law.
All right. Although the president can veto any proposed law, Congress can override the president's veto, which means passing the bill over the president's objections. However, overriding this presidential power requires a 2/3 majority in both houses.
Yeah. Article 1 elaborates on other powers of Congress. For example, only Congress can decide how to spend the money raised through taxes. Other congressional powers include the power to raise an army and navy, to declare war, to pay government debts, and to grant citizenship.
You guys, all right. In this lesson, we learned a little bit about how the Constitution met the delegates' goal of creating a more perfect union.
And we talked about the preamble. As the first words of the preamble tell us, the Constitution's authority comes directly from the people, not the states. This concept is known as popular sovereignty. The preamble goes on to list the goals of the new government.
All right, guys. In Article 1 of the Constitution, gives us information about the legislative branch. It creates a bicameral Congress with the House of Representatives and a Senate. Every state is represented by 2 senators and a number of representatives based on the state's population. Congress's primary job is to make laws.
All right, guys, and that's it for this podcast.
All right, you guys, it's quitting time.
See you soon, or not.
Yeah.